That's so cool.
It's okay.
It's going to be amazing. Yes. It's going to be amazing.
That's probably enough drinks for tonight.
That's so cool. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
That's probably enough drinks for tonight.
Yes. That's so cool.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes. That's so cool.
That's probably enough drinks for tonight.
That's so cool.
It's okay.
Yes. It's going to be amazing.
It's okay.
Yes. That's so cool.
That's probably enough drinks for tonight.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another live stream. I am Matt Yankovic, the Haas here at Percona, head of open source strategy. I'm here with Charlie, my colleague. How are you doing today, Charlie?
Doing good. Thanks, man. How about you?
Not too bad. I'm hoping that everything is working. We're back at home. Last stream, we were at Postgres Silicon Valley. The sound
Yeah.
was not great. We had to do all of our portable studio. So hopefully everything's working now. Give us a wave out there in Streamland if you are hearing everything okay and seeing this okay. Let us know that you're out there watching. So we are here to talk about backups again, because Mr. Charlie, he had some issues last time with his backups. Charlie, what kind of issues did you have with your backups last time? Remind me.
Well, you mess up with the server, right? So
I did
yeah,
not mess up with the
we had a
server.
couple of issues.
Yeah, no,
No,
it was a auto vacuum issue that actually prevented our backups from working, which was
yeah,
interesting.
actually we had a few things, right? So it's a collection of events. So the database, we were waiting for the database to finish to flush the data, and then the vacuum came in and everything started to slow down. And we had a lot of tables waiting for vacuum, and so all that many things. And this is one thing that we can expect in production, right? And that's why usually when we have backups, we want them to work not during the time that the database is working at its max speed. Usually it's we schedule them to happen during nighttime and this kind of stuff. So we do not put so much pressure on the database.
Right.
But we work it out, right? So well, actually had a problem that the server was not responsive, and I needed to ask my sysadmin to restart the box, right?
That was interesting. Yeah, so that's a whole nother thing when an AWS instance goes wonky. What do you do? And one of the checks had failed, and it had just been running since our last stream. And at some point, it lost some connectivity, which was definitely something. So, +1 to getting HA up and running, right? But
Yeah. We moving towards that topic.
Yeah.
Eventually gonna get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay, so Charlie, you're here to walk us through the rest of the backup thing. At the last one, we had the backup running. The backup had completed, and so we were at the point where we had a backup to restore from.
That's not an important thing. I went there and I checked the backup. I tried to restore that backup, and guess what? It failed. The backup was inconsistent.
Why was your backup inconsistent? What did you do, Charlie?
Well, that's a good question. You know, maybe something happens when the server just went crazy, went out. So the thing is, we need to check the backups, right? So that's, well, bad things sometimes turn out to be good things. Right? So today we need to do the backup again. So, and remember that, last time we started talking the whole process, what PG-based backup does, right? We went manually and tried to reproduce what it does, right? So remember that we executed the instruction, the select to start backup, and then we used the rsync to backup and everything. So that's the manual process, right? So we went to the database, we told the database, look, I want to create a backup. And we gave to that backup a label, a name, or an alias, let's put on this way. And then we have a consistent point in time where you could start copying the physical data, right, using rsync. Well, it never finished. Remember, so we had those problems, never finished. The server went crazy, and so the backup was inconsistent. Okay, now that we have a good understanding how the PG-based backup sort of works, before we go to the PG-based backup, we gonna still do some manual things. Let me share my screen here, man. Just a second.
Okay, share your screen.
So can you see my screen?
Oh, look, we've got a screen.
Yeah. Okay. What I was saying is, so let me go back here. Let me connect to the database. Well, not this one. Okay, I connected to the database. So we did this PG start backup last time, and then we tried to copy and everything. So that is another way to simulate manually what PG-based backup does. And we can use the replication protocol to ask the database to copy the data. And this is what we're going to do today. So I hope it's going to be faster. And to do so, I'm going to use PSQL. So I'm going to use here PSQL and tell the PSQL that I want to use the replication protocol here instead of, let's put in this way, a normal connection. So here I'm telling the database, look, I'm open this connection to the database and I want to sort of walk through the replication protocol, not the normal protocol that we work with the database, right? So this is one thing. When we go through the replication protocol, we have a lot of few more things that we can do. It's on the documentation. And one of the things that we can do, for example, is to check information about the system, information about the server we're connecting to. For example, here, I'm gonna ask the server to identify the system. So what it's gonna do is, it's gonna tell us what is the timeline. Well, the server didn't do any recover, so we're still in the first timeline. This is the LSN, the log position that we have, and this is an identifier of this instance, of this server here that we solve. It will be important later when we start creating a replication environment. When we have a primary and different nodes, we'll see that every node will have its own system identifier, its own system ID. And they are used by the replication protocol. Well, we're not going to go deep today, but this is something that you can do. Another thing that we can do here, we can tell the database that we want to do a backup, right? And remember that we are using a base backup, right? So what we want to do here is just to do it a base backup, a base backup. So I will tell the label, what is the label that I want for my base backup? Let's put here, I don't know, net backup 1. So it's just a label. I can give him some instructions if I want the backup to copy the wall, if I want the backup to do a fast not commit. I just forgot that it came like out of my mind. I flushed to the data, so I can instruct the backup here to go for more a lot of options. What I want to do is I want it to be, if we need to do any flush here, the database to try to do as fast as possible because we want to have this backup to finish. I do want to copy the wall files. And if I just run here, what we're gonna have here is a stream of data, because it's going sending to the system output. but I don't want to send the system output. I want to send this to save to a file. And this backup that's done here, it's not compressed, but it's use a tarball. So I can send everything for a tar file, right? For example, we have the folder backup, and let's just call it backup one. I have some stuff here, .tar, right? So I'm gonna send there. Before, let's go to our folder backup to see if we have anything here. So we have those backups that I've played before. I'm gonna remove them because we don't have that much space. So we only have 43 gigabytes available. And as we see here, the backups are around 47 gigabytes. So we need to do some cleanup, right? So I'm just removing them. Okay, nothing here. Now we have enough space and we can run here. So it is blocking because it's a blocking operation, right? So PSQL will only return when it finishes. But if we go back here, we can.
So wait, you just mentioned this is a blocking operation, so you can't run this on a live system?
No, it's a blocking operation for the PSQL, not for the database.
Oh, for the command,
Yeah, just for the command.
Just to be sure, it's not like it's locking the entire database.
No. Now, if we go here, you can connect to the database. Let's see how many database we have. Let's do the events. Let's check what are the events we have here. So we're gonna see that we have the backup somewhere here. Yeah, here we have the backup. See, it's still running, it's still active. We can even, what are the database we have here? Let's connect to the database. I don't know, let's just create a new database. Create database test. So we connect to the database test, and then here we create table T1, just ID integer in here, right? Insert into T1, select X from generate series 1 to 300,000. So the database is still working. If I type correctly, it works. So the database is still working. The backup is just running. So it's not a database blocking operation. The only thing is just that the command line here is blocked, right? So it's just like I'm running.
No, and I mean, you just got to be careful when you use the term block. This is blocking. I automatically assume that.
Yeah. So I watch here. Well, okay, CD backup. What I want to do here is we'll see the progression, right? So the file is slowly progressing here. Remember, it's 47, 48 gigabytes backup. It will take some time to finish the backup. Okay, what I want to tell you is this is exactly the very same command that the PG base backup runs underneath. So under the hood, under the table, when you run a PG base backup, mostly this is what it's doing. So
wait. So let me ask you that, because the thing that PG base backup isn't doing is it doesn't actually copy the files. That's why we had to go rsync them. So this is doing something a little different.
Well, no. Hold on. The rsync we did last time is because we did everything manually. Right. The PG base backup, it does copy all the data, all the files that you have in your database. And that's why you can use PG base backup, for example, to spin up a replica. If you need a replica, the easiest way to create a replica for your primary is to use PG base backup to spin up a replica. The PG base backup will copy and transfer the data, the whole data from your primary to the replica, right? This is actually what it does.
Right. Okay.
Last time, did is this command here, this base backup command here, what it does is it runs the SPG start backup. Remember that we told that command the label name. This is the label name.
Yes.
Some of the parameters here we also gave to him. Right, if you want this faster, if you want it runs in parallel. So those some of the parameters they will be passed here as well. So the first thing that the command does is to run the SPG start backup. So it will run internally. It will create the backup, the point in the backup structure. So now we are consistent. So if it needs to flush anything, it will flush, and so everything happens here, right? So this is the first thing that it does. After that, the PG-based backup, or this command here, it will stream, copy the files and the data, everything that's from the data gear to, in our case, we're sending to this file, right? We're sending here to this file. We're gonna have a copy of our database inside of this file, this start file. It's a consistent copy. When it finishes, it runs APG stop backup.
Okay.
So the database.
So what you're saying is this method automates most of the manual steps we did in the last one.
Yes, exactly.
Now,
actually, it fully automates the process, right? So because we don't need to do to do the rsync, the only thing that we need to do now after it's finished, we need to untap, because well, it's creating a TAF file. We are creating a TAF file, so we need to untap. And the PG-based backup will do it for us, right? So the PG-based backup when you run the PG-based backup, we're gonna run the PG-based after this, so it will do the whole process. We have a full consistent copy of the database at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we can stop this database and point the data gear to this new database, that's the backup. So we're gonna do that and start a new database there, right? So this is one thing that we can do. Also, we can use point-in-time recovery using this strategy. This is important thing. We need to, we can use PG point-in-time recovery, right? Okay.
Okay. So I do want to, before you get too far into that, while the backup is still processed. Oh, it looks like it might be done or close to it.
Yeah, it is done.
Which is great. So here's something I wanted to point out to people who are looking at this command and going, okay, I'm going to run this. This is something that is going to cause contention on the disk. It will slow down whatever is running. And that is an important thing for folks who are thinking about backups, especially those who are starting out in the space and they're just learning about, hey, I need to take a backup. You will slow down your production workload.
It will. That's true.
Yeah. So just be mindful of that. By the way, folks who are hanging out, we are responding or throwing some chat on, but for whatever reason, things are being duplicated today. So we're seeing multiple responses from the Percona channel in chat. So I apologize for the double or in some cases triple messages. Lovely. Every day there's something a little different. But back to the backups here. So okay, so use this on a replica if possible. Do this during low usage times. We talked a little bit about when to schedule backups and how often in the last stream. I'm going to do some editing, magic on that and do some smaller videos because we went quite lengthy there. But okay, go ahead. Continue on.
Okay, I have a question for you. Remember that I created one database, I created one table, I inserted 100,000 rows in that table during the backup process. So if I spin up another Postgres replica here, like instance here, we have that data?
Will it have that data in it?
Yeah. What do you think?
Not unless you're replaying the transactions, right? So if you set up the replica based on this and then you roll forward all of the transactions after, then yes, it would have it. But if you are saying, like, I took a point in time recovery or a point in time backup, I restore the backup, and during the backup I did some work, by default it wouldn't. It would have to roll through those transactions.
Okay. Here we have.
And you can just say,
this-
yes, you are right, and move on.
I don't know. I don't want to say not.
Oh
yeah,
my
I don't
God, you
know.
know.
What I gonna do is I gonna stop the database now, right?
Okay, stop the database now. By the way, if you love hearing me and Charly just bicker nonstop, I posted on my own personal YouTube channel today the behind the scenes view of us trying to debug some Postgres database stuff. It's 30 minutes long of just us yelling at each other. It's quite glorious.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't use glorious, but yeah, that was
It's
fun.
glorious. Just say it's glorious and move on.
Okay, let's move on. As you see, my database is not running. Just for the sake of double check. So, of course, I need to use a graph, right? So we don't have Postgres running. Here we have the exporter for PMM, but we don't have the database running, right? So my database is not running. Where am I? Okay, here 13. This is the main database folder, right? So this is what we have now. I'm gonna rename this main to old. So, and I'm gonna extract. I'm gonna let me go here to the backup folder. Okay, I don't want an archive. What I'm gonna do here is just untar this file. Well, it's taking some time. So I'm gonna untar this file and I'm gonna create a symbolic link to the Postgres folder, right? So I'm just replacing the folder, the original one for the backup folder.
Mhm.
Because as we are using Ubuntu here, it has some, the parameters for the configuration files is pointing to the etc/Postgres and blah, 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 and I don't want to bother changing those things. It's easy just to change the folder name. I thought you've improved the disk performance for this box, because your box is pretty slow. I mean, the disk is.
It is
like
named
my old
Charly
spinning
DB.
disk.
It is named Charly DB.
I can't tell. It's like
Hey,
the
it's
name
not
is
my fault. You,
IP172.
yeah, this is all on you, not me.
It's mine.
It's all on you, not me.
See, now you need to stay here, hanging here for like minutes, waiting just to untar a file. Like it's like
Well,
only
so I did
48
tell you you
gigabytes.
should prep for this ahead of time. I did say that to you. I said, make sure you have things ready to go. Make it so it's
Well,
speedy,
but
so people
they
don't
want
have to
see.
just sit here and watch, because now
Yeah,
we
but-
are stuck just giving witty banter, right? And so people, as much as people love witty banter from Charly and Matt.
Okay, let's do other thing. While we wait, let's go to etc Postgres, the configuration. What is the configuration? 13 main. There is one thing here that I want to talk with you. So not the max number of connections. One thing that's important for us to do point in time recovery, and even for replication, when we're talking about replication, are the WAL files, right? We need to, the database needs to have the WAL files to roll forward the data, as you just mentioned, or for the replicas to be able to keep replicating from the database. So the database will save those WAL files inside of this folder, pgwall, on the newer versions. When I say newer versions, I think they changed it on PG10 or PG11. I don't remember. Before, the name of the folder was pgxlog. And then people found out that xlog, it's confusing, right? It's because you can confuse with the log files. That is not the WAL files. And then, well, they rename it for pgwall. That makes a lot more sense. So the database is saving all the WAL files inside of this folder here. The thing is, in our configuration here, each file is of 16 megabytes. We can change this value, the size, the parameter. And what I want to say is, if we have 1,000 files of 16 megabytes, we end up with a lot of files, right? If you have 1 million of files, so it can grow quite significantly and fast, depends on your workload. So we, on the configuration file, ask the database to do a cleanup or to only keep certain amount of files or a number or an age. So if you have more than 1,000 files, then the database starts removing the old ones. Or if you have a file that's older than 1 day or 2 days, the database starts removing one. So the thing is, at some point, those files will be removed, right? And we need to have a way to keep or archive those files. So this is what on the configuration, on the parameters, they call archive. So the archive mode. I've changed it already. By default, this here is off. By default, the archive mode is off. And by default, the archive command is just empty. So I change it to on. Now we have archiving mode. And what we do is we copy those files when they're created, when we create a new archive files, we're copying the old files to this folder here. We are using rsync to copy. This is the full path, as we see here, the placeholder. %HP is the path of the file that we want to copy. This is the pg wall / file name. So this is the full path of that file. It will copy, or in my case, rsync that file to this folder, right? So this here is enough for us to have archive for what we are going to do, the point-in-time recovery. So we have those WAL files. But for that to work, we need to tell the database what is the level of WAL that we want to the database. As you can see here, the default is replica. So replica is enough to do point-in-time recovery. And even for replication, if we will build a replication using physical replication, this is enough. That's why I didn't change anything here. Later on, we're going to change for logical when we start playing with logical replication. So we need to change this. What does it mean is it will put less or more data or less or more information inside of the WAL files. Now, the amount of data we're saving to the disk is smaller or larger. The minimal value, as suggested here, is minimal. So the minimal, you just save the minimal data for the database recover from a crash. So if like you needed to restart this box, right? When you restarted this box, the database was running. So it was a crash. It was a huge crash because it was the whole box. When I started the database needed to go and do a crash recovery. So we went to the WAL files to see if something that was committed needed to be replayed, something needed to be rolled back. So all that crash recovery and clean up on the data files it's done because we have that information on the WAL files, right? So the minimal guarantees that we have that minimal data for the database to recover from a crash. But if we use minimal, we cannot do point-in-time recovery, and we cannot have replication. We don't have enough data for point-in-time recovery, and we don't have enough data for replication. So we need the WAL level to be at least of replica, which is the default. So for now, the default is enough for us. So we can do the point-in-time recovery as we intend to.
Okay.
And we do have WAL files. So
okay. And right now, both this server is not, it doesn't have any real workload on it. Now, Charlie, while you were sitting there, your sysadmin, Gus, the sysadmin, went ahead and added another disk to this box. So it's under SDF.
Thanks,
So Gus did that for us. So you will have to mount it and whatnot, but it should be
okay.
yeah. So we should see that. It should be a 300 gig or 300 gig one.
Okay, have this one. That's 3. I only have one here.
Should be. That's not the same one, right? There's 2. Yeah, so there's 2 300 gig ones. So I think it's the second one, isn't it?
NVM 0. Oh yeah, and this is NVM 0N1. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is solid state. This has a much higher reserved IO throughput. So
okay,
just for you.
Cool.
Just for you.
Thanks, sir. That's highly appreciated.
Now you can use it or not use it.
I will. So not for now. Let me finish the one thing, then we go back here. Right?
Okay. Hey, Mahesh said that he had the same question asked in an interview today. Which question was that? Was that about like the WAL settings?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. What was the
Charlie? Did you interview someone today?
No, I didn't. That was not me.
Oh, okay.
Not today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hope he went well in the
nice. Let us all know. We want to know if you did well in the interview, and really hopefully you did.
Yeah, and it's good to see like some of the content we see here, people are using out there, right? So
indeed, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, at this point we have this one here. I'm gonna remove the backup. Well, I'm not going to remove. We're gonna move the backup. We're gonna be safer. Okay. So we have a physical copy of almost everything from our database. And I say almost is because, well, it's not everything. And we'll see. I'm missing here one file that's for configuration when we start it's used by PostgreSQL to start the database. And we'll see that the database is going to complain when I try to start this database, but so okay. So what I want to do here is a symbolic link for backup, and here backup 1 to var lib PostgreSQL 13 main. So we have now our main folder. So if I go to that one, this is what we have. And theoretically, if I run here a PostgreSQL, I always like to run a restart. So it should work, right? Because this is the main folder, the data G. So the configuration files are all pointing to this here. We have all the data, it should work, right? But it didn't. And it said it doesn't have the postmaster OPTS file. And remember that I told you it copied almost all the files. Yeah,
Almost.
and that's almost. Yeah, that almost it's what makes sometimes we look bad, right? But I was expecting this to happen. And as I was expecting this to happen, oops, not me, it is old. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this file because I don't want to type it. I could,
What
but
is
I'm
in the
lazy.
ops file?
I'm gonna open the file. I knew you would ask this question. Before I open, so what it does, it has the Postgres command to the command to start Postgres pointing to the folder where we have the configuration files, because Ubuntu use a different, and Debian put the configuration file in a different folder that's not inside of the data tree. And Postgres, it's confused. So we have you're gonna use Postgres command to start the database. The -d is the data G, and -c is the where we file the configuration files. So this is just the command to be run. Let's put on this way by PGCTL. So I could just copy this here manually and start Postgres using, but I like to use PGCTL. So, and now it should, and it didn't start. Well, what is the problem now?
You didn't set the permissions.
Oh, I didn't set the permissions there. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
So,
You have to set the ownership in the
well, the ownership there of Postgres, because I'm using the user Postgres. So
oh
that
yeah,
should,
you did. But yeah,
yeah,
so you probably have it's too permissive, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
That we say it's saying that it's using 750, that's too permissive, and we need to use 700. Right. So
Watchers, secure your
do
data.
this. Yeah, please.
Don't hack my or don't leave my data accessible.
Exactly. It's asking you, please, can you give me this favor? Well, I'm gonna do this here and also in the backup, the original folder, that is backup one. Okay. Well, now we should be able to start, right? Come on. Not yet. What happened here?
You're missing the PID file.
Oh, that's fine, because here it starts is trying to stop. Just forget about it. It's the log starts here.
Ah.
Okay, it couldn't start the server. Let's check the logs, right? It say that we should find information inside of the logs. Let's go to the log. I hope we don't have that many logs. Okay. Today's 21st should be this one.
Unlike the last time we did this, when our logs were like streaming errors.
Yeah.
By the way, this is if you check the server name, this is Charly DB. So anything that's wrong is officially Charlie's. So it's missing var run PostgreSQL, right? So
yeah, it is.
yeah. And so that's
so
a problem in and of itself.
yeah, we could change the configuration, but remember again, I'm lazy. I'm just create. Well, it's in there.
Is it a permission issue then?
Probably.
So we can't create that in that directory?
Probably. So its owner is, what is Postgres? Oh,
That's
the owner is
last line.
Postgres.
The last line.
Sorry, can you say that again?
It was right there. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
What was your error again? So Is that a directory? Is that a temp directory that it's creating?
Yeah, it's trying to use, so. Okay,
You're going to try and create it, aren't you? Oh, is that a
Of
PG
course.
stat? Was it a PG stat monitor error?
where?
Yeah. Isn't that a PG stat monitor thing?
No.
No? Or is it just
Well, that's a good question. But I'm gonna just create as a Postgres. Well, I just want to run my database. We can investigate it later.
you totally need to investigate that. Yes.
And here we go.
Yes.
So
Because I think actually that's preventing that from auto starting. And I think
that
that's
might be a good thing.
yeah, because the server installed by Charly was having some problems auto starting, and we need to go back and get that fixed.
Installed by okay. I pretend I didn't hear that. So
You
if
can
we go
totally pretend,
PSQL
but I said it. The viewers out there heard it.
look, I have the folder test, man.
Yes, I see this. I see this.
And I have the table 1.
I see this. I see this. Yes.
How is that possible? What happened? You told me it won't be here.
Select from
I
T1.
want-
Go ahead.
I want to count because it's 100,000 rolls. I don't want to get it. See?
So the backup rolled through all the transactions, all the wall logs up until the end, until it finished.
The answer to this question, I think we just lost it.
What do you mean we just lost it?
Yeah, it's because I cannot go back here. I'm using a screen and they don't have all the answer to this question is in the end of the backup process. Seriously.
Just explain it and it's fine.
Yeah, but I want to show you. Because you might not believe me.
I know that you are 100% wrong.
Yeah, that
Vote now if you think that
Yeah.
Charly is wrong. And I'm going to say yes.
Look, this is the answer for that question.
Yeah, all required wall segments have been archived. Yes, yes, yes.
So we do have all the data. Remember, when we did the backup is consistent at that point. So the database keeps working and working and working and working. So, but we can roll forward the data if we have those WAL files, right?
Mm-hmm.
So remember, the database uses the WAL files to do a crash recovery. So if the database sees, okay, yeah, I have the data set, but I also have those WAL files. Let me take a look. Oh, I have some transaction that's being committed inside of those WAL files. Well, I think I should apply them because they've been committed. So, and then the database just applies those logs. Right?
Danielle wants to know, are we going to do yet another backup? Yes, because one of the things that Charly has not used yet is PG backrest. And PG backrest is what we recommend to actually run the backups. Because Charly, in his thoroughness, is going to show you all the ways to run backups and then tell you why you should never use those ways.
No, it's not that why you never should use those ways. There are a lot of opportunities and cases that they are best suited to do some of those backups. But they are exceptions, right? Remember, we always have exceptions. It's not never, because, well, never use never, because we might have an exception. It's just like people say, oh, you should never use a dump because dump is not backup. Okay, but what if you need only one table inside of 100 terabytes database? Are you going to do a physical copy of 100 terabytes database, then remove everything just because you need one data? Well, it's better to use a dump, right? In case of
Yes.
Postgres APG dump.
Yes, of course. I mean, like there are going to be exceptions. Yes.
Yeah. And another thing is you need to understand how the process works, because what if you have a problem using PG backrest?
Well, right. Then you would have to go do a backup some other method. However, if you have a problem with BG backrest and the data is corrupted or the backups are corrupted, that's a whole nother thing. But that's a
Indeed.
whole nother
So
thing.
you need to find out if the problem, if you are using PG backrest, you need to find out if the problem is the PG backrest itself, or if the process of it, right? So if you know all the mechanics behind it, you're able to start troubleshooting things. You know how the mechanics of a good backup works. It's easier to troubleshoot any tool you're using, either doing everything manually or using a nice PG backrest with a backup server, streaming with multiple connections and all those fancy nice things, right? So, and that's the main reason why we are walking through those things. Okay, the next step, and to finish before we go to point in time recover, is the PG-based backup, right? So we need to do, so we saw what PG-based backups does by under the hood. Now let's use a PG-based backup. And to do so, I'm gonna use that nice new volume that you just created.
Nice new volume. Woohoo!
So I want to do, before I do a logical volume create, I need to do oh, you don't have anything here. AVG create. I'm trying to remember here because it's been like since ever.
Oh, so now
it's PV create. Okay. Okay. So, okay, the name, I'm gonna call VG data. And here, okay, then I can create a logical volume of, I don't know, I'm gonna put here 100 gigabytes. I'm gonna call logical volume backup and from VG data. I'm gonna use MKFS XFS because it's easier. Well, obviously I need to tell him where I want to do it. And I need to create the file system. Oh no, it already made the file system. That's fine. So okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna env the backup folder to old backup folder. I'm gonna create a backup folder. Create is the best. And I'm gonna mount this guy here on my backup folder. Okay, and here we have, I have a backup folder and that amazing, awesome new disk. And
yeah, so I gave you provisioned IO for backups, and then the regular database is not using provisioned IO, which is silly. So you know what you should do is you should restore to a provisioned IO.
And that's why I only created this 100 gigabytes disk here, because I'm gonna use another 100 gigabytes for the database.
Okay, but you're gonna
Honest
contend.
monograph.
You're gonna contend, right?
Well, that's true.
So you
But
could have
it's
used the base disk for, anyways. Whatever. I'll let.
okay. No. That's fine. That's okay. Yeah. Then let's do that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This time, you're right.
This time I am right.
So
Don't doubt my superpowers.
I need to unmount.
You just leave it as backup. Create another one. I mean, it's fine. Like it was just a comment that, if you're going to create a backup directory with faster disk, why not put the main database on the faster disk? It's a logical.
No, that's yeah, it is, and this is what I'm doing now.
Also, don't forget to put it in FS tab to automatically have it restart.
I will.
Otherwise, the database won't come back up, and then we'll all be sad on the next stream, and we'll sit around kind of staring at you, going like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, and troubleshoot for like an hour. Just figure out it's not. The volume is not.
Hey, so I am curious, for those who are watching, would anybody watch Charly for 2 hours trying to troubleshoot a Postgres problem?
Nah, not at all.
I could make it
I
happen.
would not watch myself for 2 hours.
Oh, come on, Charly. People love Charly in the chocolate factory here. By the way, do you have any of that chocolate that you just carry it on you?
Well, we always have some. Okay, it's well. I probably messed that up with some stuff here. Varly Postgres main doesn't exist. Why it doesn't exist? It should.
You made it a link, a symlink.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it should exist.
You moved it.
Ooh,
Yeah, you moved it.
see.
That's why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course it makes sense. Do you doubt my superpowers? I'm gonna buy myself a cape. I think I can make that happen, right? That'd be cool.
The database is slowing down. I mean, the box is slowing down. I don't know if it might not work. Or
The box is not slowing down. The box has no traffic to it. It's you. I'm not even logged into the box. Charly likes to blame everything on me. He does.
I'm typing things and it's taking quite long to reply. Anyways, so let me stop here. It's okay. The database is stopped. We just did a very nasty and dangerous thing here. We were playing with the data in the disk while the database was still running. You realize that, right?
Yes. Well, I didn't do that.
Guys, never do those things. This is silly and can cause a lot of problems. It's stupid and silly, right? So if you want to move things around, please stop your database. Don't do like Matt that just asked me to do those silly things, and I agreed. Yeah, so don't do it. Right? Okay. So okay, now what I'm going to do is, and that's your fault, right?
No.
Before you start complaining.
The screen says, what does the screen say, Charly?
Which screen?
My camera. What does my camera say?
I can't see your camera.
You can't see in the little corner. It says it's Charly's fault.
Oh.
There's arrows to you. So it is definitely Charly's fault. Hi, Naga. How are you? Thanks for joining us today. We're just going through, and Charly was is restoring a backup to a faster disk on an AWS instance, and in Charly's haste, he forgot to shut the database down. And so let Charly, show you his super magic as he restores the backup that he took, because the database has crashed. It was all part of the experience here.
Yeah, that's all part of the experience.
Yeah, it's all part of the experience. Danielle, there is
and
no
here we
extra
go
backup
again.
for Postgres.
Moving. And here we go again, moving data from a very slow disk to another one that's I hope it's a bit faster. So I'm gonna have some water after that. All in the script, right? So that was, we did on purpose for people to learn what never do.
Don't do this. Yeah. So Danielle, extra backup is MySQL only. PG Backrest would be the recommended tool in Postgres. And Charlie asked about using PG Backrest. I asked him earlier, and he said he wanted to make everyone suffer through all these other things first.
Yeah,
and
because
then
I
we'll
did
do
it before.
PG
So
Backrest. Yes.
we will.
Yes. So
people asking why not use Barman and PG Backrest. Well,
yes.
I
Mahesh, who sounds like he had a good interview today, by the way. So congratulations to Mahesh.
yeah.
He said it was good. So that's awesome. So why not Barman?
Okay. This is personal. I personally have few experience with Barman, so I'm not the right person to comment on those. But when I was researching, so PG Backrest is a newer technology than Barman. So it doesn't mean that Barman is not a good technology. Right? I just choose because it was newer. It is written in a language that like I can follow easily. Like it had a lot of Python, some C on top of it, so I'm easier to do so. And that's more in my case. I found easier to find documentation, and the people that I was working, they were already working with PG Backrest, right? So if you start a project and you want to check it out, which one works better, so that's definitely something that you should. And that is, in my case, there's no much audit on those, right? So they are both great tools. For what I've seen, PG Backrest has better integrations with new technologies. Like I've seen a lot of tools and operators running the backup strategy using PG Backrest on Kubernetes and things because it's easier than to integrate environment, or at least from that point of view. And that's it, right? So, but yeah, well, they're great tools. I've seen other companies using Barman, and it's been working. It's been there for forever, like for a really long time, and does the job.
Yeah, and yeah. Again, where I kind of pushed Charlie a little earlier on this as well as we were talking, right? So obviously we would recommend using something like PG Backrest or even Barman, but we were going to concentrate on PG Backrest. But Charlie, wanted to do that in the next session. When I said, "Oh, are you going to do PG Backrest?" He said, "No, I don't want to do PG Backrest today. It's so hard. I want to do this other stuff first." And then I said, "Fine," because I am a nice guy. But no. So yes, we would recommend that. That's something
that's fully true. That's all true. That's exactly what I
totally
said.
true.
The way that I said, it's like I can see myself on those words.
Yeah, I think I have video of it. I think I do.
Yeah. Well,
hey, guess what? Your backup's done. So
yeah, I'm copying not copying. I'm var leave PostgreSQL main.
So are you going to do the point in time recovery in a second?
Yep. But to do so, okay. I think I messed it up with something. It was not supposed to have this folder there. Yeah, to do the point in time recovery, we need to have a database running, right? And crash the database. Or at least. Well,
what was that noise? That was a weird noise, right?
Which one?
You went up. That noise.
I didn't.
I think you did, but okay, move on.
Okay.
Yeah, you made a noise that sounded like you were in pain from something you did. So.
Do you know what is this problem? You don't know, do you? So,
you can't find Postgres. Why can't it find Postgres?
You can't find Postgres. The problem is because it removed this folder and it doesn't know which folder it is, so it's not able to go back to find the root folder. See? Now we have this is a different problem. Could not access virally Postgres 13 man. Yeah, man, I told you I messed it up. I messed it up with something. Okay, why it's trying to find the? Okay, let's catch this guy. etc main. Why is trying to find the? Okay, weird. Right. Anyways, restart it. So we have the database. Let's say I go to my database. I go to my database, and that we have. Let's create here a nice table, right? No. Let's say I have this table T1. Doesn't matter the name of the table. So that they have 100,000 rows from this T1. And I was playing, and I know that everything in Postgres is a transaction, right? For example, if I do here begin and drop table T1, what do you think gonna happen if I do this here, Matt?
That if you drop the
Look,
table without committing or with committing?
Can I roll back this operation? Remember, this is a DTL.
You should be able to roll back that, shouldn't you? Ah, damn. Sorry. I just pulled my cord out.
Some databases, they don't allow. For example, MySQL, DDL are not transactional. If you do a drop table on MySQL, that's it. It dropped at the table. On Postgres, yeah, we can roll back. Roll back. So the table is still here, right? Nice. But what if I do the drop table thinking I'm inside of a transaction, but like, okay, I'm not inside of a transaction anymore. I just dropped at the table. Okay, that's quite bad, right?
Indeed.
And let's say if I do a backup,
Don't drop your tables.
yeah, don't drop your tables. So if I can recover the table because I have the backup, right? And I just remember that I have the table on the backup. That was a bad move. So I just did it in the wrong order. So if I just recover the backup now, I just recover the table. So I don't need the point in time recovery.
You won't need the point in time recovery. You should have deleted some data or added some data.
Yeah, I should have added some data. Okay, let's just create the table and the backup again, and then I'm gonna add.
You already have the backup, so can't you just, since you already have the backup, you could just restore the backup yet again.
That's also works,
right?
I mean,
I guess it would be the whatever way is faster.
Yeah, it's faster. Yeah, and I think it's faster. You should prevent me doing those things, man. You know.
How am I all of a sudden the Charly police? How did I become the Charly police?
You know, you should prevent me doing those stupid things.
There's only so much time in the day, Charly.
That was bad. That was bad. You know, you should not say those things. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I'm gonna move this back up here. And data. Seriously, I don't have permission. I'm the owner.
So here is a randomly stupid question that
Mm,
we should know the answer to, right? So you
should I?
cannot just restore the single table from that backup.
No, because it's a physical backup. Uh, we if we need that very single table, we need to do what I'm doing here. We need to restore the whole database, do a dump, and move to the database that we need that table.
And we have a
That's
question.
one of
Is
the
there a
complications.
recycle bin?
What you mean inside of the database?
Like an undo space, I'm guessing Mahesh is asking.
Yeah, remember, the thing is the recycle bin is the point in time recovery. It's what we're gonna do now, right? So actually we will go back and try to get that only data that we need, right? The thing is, once you commit your transaction, that's done. The database, especially on a drop table, like just I did here, it's literally removed the file from the OS, right? So there are some cases that it's possible, like for example, if I do a delete, the Postgres marks those rows as removed. It doesn't physically remove those rows. And in certain circumstances, we can do really bad black magic, let's put on this way, and go inside of the data file and change the marks. It's a very dangerous operation and should not be done unless extremely necessary, right? But for file perspective, when I do a drop table, it removes the file. Well, we can still go to the file system and try to recover that file. So in extreme cases, we can always try to do those unsafe operations. But as the name say, they are unsafe, right? So rather go for point-in-time recovery and make things.
So what you're
easier.
talking about is a forensic kind of data recovery,
Yes.
where you're using tools like maybe like PG wall dump or PG file dump and looking for specific data and trying to mess with them.
Yeah, and some companies even have some in-house tools that are built on top of the Postgres storage, how that works to try to recover those data. But as you said, yeah, those are forensic type of recover. They are dangerous. They're not, there's no.
There's also a plugin called Trash Can that I didn't know about.
Yeah, that's new. I don't know.
Oh, that's
new for
old.
me.
It's from 9. I don't even know if it works now, but I just
Okay, yeah.
noticed that as I was searching around.
Oh, finally. Yeah, everything that goes out from the old is to the new one.
Wine, wine, wine.
Okay, we do have the backup. Let's recover the backup. Let's write new data. Let's.
Charlie, don't drop your
That's
table.
not my fault.
Don't do.
No,
How is it
That's
not
just-
your fault?
just the wrong sequence of actions.
I'm going to bring you this message.
Okay,
There
we
you go.
need to do it. We need to do it in max 15 minutes, right? Because I think we're running for 1 hour already. So we need to start doing those things.
Every time I do an hour stream with you, Charlie, it goes an hour and a half. I don't understand this. Can someone explain that to me? And again, if you were looking, it's all Charlie's fault. So
And I don't want to carry on the point in time recovery for the next one. I want to finish this time.
We must finish it because we're already booked until next year with Postgres sessions. If for those of you who aren't following this channel regularly, we are doing this every 2 weeks and we're covering a different topic unless we spill over a topic. So we have things like HA to get to, replication. We're talking about how to use cloud instances, Kubernetes. We're doing query optimization. We're going to do an Oracle migration. stream where we talk about how to migrate from Oracle. We're going to do some database design sessions. So there's actually a schedule that is out through the end of the year already. And every time Charly does this, gosh darn it, it means an extra day. So we're probably into 2025 now. Hopefully we'll end this series at my retirement party. Yes.
That won't
Postgres
be
32 is out, Charly. Are we finally done with our live streams on Postgres 13?
that won't be too long from my retirement either, you know.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh,
You know,
see? Mahesh likes the way that you're doing this, though. He's saying that he appreciates the Charly. Okay? He appreciates the Charly. And that's cool.
Thanks.
That's
Mahesh.
cool.
Yeah, I do.
I give Charly a lot. I can bully him if I want to. That's my job. That's my job. You know, like I said, I got a sign. I got the sign. It's Charly's fault. In fact, I think I'm going to put the sign. I think I'm going to use this next time. And I'm going to put it's Charly's fault on here in flashing letters. I think I'll do that.
It's always Charles' fault, you know. Always
happens. Charly
it's
happens.
Always gonna be.
And Mahesh, yes, we totally know that we want you learn more as you see people who have to troubleshoot things. Like for instance, the last live stream we did, we ran into the problem where we were running a backup and vacuum was blocking it, and I had never run into that before. And so seeing Charly kind of troubleshoot, and it took us a while, 20 minutes to figure it out. And it was like, it was something that was interesting. And it is a little bit more because, when you look at scripted demos, you sometimes don't run into these little tiny things. So I give a Charly a lot of crap, but it's all from love. It's all from love. We do it because we love. I'm always right.
Bully Charly.
Oh no! Yeah. So yeah. No, I'm gonna totally bully Charly. Bully you if I want.
But the thing is, the stronger people, they just revert the situation, right? So yeah, I'm the smart guy here. That's why I'm being bullied. See?
Oh, that's it. Oh, you're bullied because you're the smart one.
Of course. Man, you told me that was a faster disk. It took longer than the other one to just unpack.
Hey, are you sure that you actually used the faster disk and didn't accidentally set it? Thank you, Anthony. The real-time aspects of these sessions are great. He loves having these sessions real-time. That's awesome.
This is using the faster disk.
What is it? I can't.
Oh. You're saving money,
No, everybody's telling me I got to stop bullying you.
See?
Somebody has to like me best.
I told you.
Somebody has to like me best.
I told you.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Seriously.
What did you do now?
MV star for 13.
Oh.
I know Linux. I know. Yeah, that wasn't bad.
I know Linux. No. So
okay.
Actually, if people like this, like I said, there's several other sessions if you haven't caught up with us before. We've gone through the installation steps. We've gone through some tuning, some configuration. So this is, I think, our 6th stream that we've done. And, like I said, I just posted a behind the scenes from the Postgres Silicon Valley. So Charly bribes me with chocolate as we start to run into errors, which is fun. The
errors you created, right?
No, it was errors he created. But check those out if you like our witty banter back and forth and you like seeing what Charly's doing. We do appreciate Charly and everything he does here, even though I give him a lot of crap for it. Hey, Charly, didn't we fix that before?
Yeah, we just recovered the backup. Remember, every time that you do recover, it changes.
Well, yes. But one of the fun things about Charly, and again, if you watch the behind the scenes, you'll notice this. When he goes to conferences, he brings copious amounts of candy with him, like lots and lots of candy. And he has it in his pocket. And at the most unusual times, he just pulls it out and hands it to you. Like you'll be talking in the middle of a conversation about something and he'll just hand you a piece of chocolate, and it's like, where did that come from? Oh, look, we have data.
Back from the graves.
Well, hey, Mahesh, thank you for sticking around till almost 2 a.m. your time. We appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah.
Drop us a message or an email, Mahesh, and we'll get you a Charlie and Matt t-shirt. So if you want to, drop me at hoss@percona.com, HOSS at percona.com, with your address, we'll get you some cool swag for hanging out with us till 2 a.m.
So now we have same mistake. So now we have, if everything went well, 200,000 rows, right? So our backup had 100,000 rows, and now we have 200,000 rows. And I was talking about, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about not the drop table. I was talking about the begin transaction, and I just forgot to run the begin. And we don't have that table anymore, right? So goodness. And now we have the problem. So if we just recover the backup, we won't have the data, right? So, I mean, we're going to have 100,000 rows, but we won't have the 200,000 rows. So what we need to do now, we need to do a point-in-time recovery. This is what the things we need to do, right? So, but for us to be able to do a point-in-time recovery, we need two things. We need to have the base backup from the last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we need to have the wall files since that base backup, right? Those are the two things that we need to have. And we need to tell the database up to when we want to copy the data. So we need to tell the database when we want to stop copying that data, right? So let me just pull here. I need to go to, oops, here I need to go to data. And I'm gonna move the backup 001 to point-in-time recovery. I need to extract this again. So what I'm doing now is I'm using the old backup to recover the data. So I'm gonna stop the database. So it's gonna stop the database. We need to find a way. So how we get, when we want to get what was the last operation that we want to stop, when we want to stop the database, we need to have a way or to find the transaction or find out when we want to stop, because as the name say, it's point in time recover. We're gonna ask the database to go forward up to certain point in time, right? We don't want the database to run everything from the start. How we do that, Matt? Do you any clue?
Well, sorry, I was reading. So there's a couple different ways you can get the like the transaction ID to stop at, or you can also use a specific time.
Yeah, but what do we have this specific time? How we get that specific time, or how we get that transaction ID?
You should can you look through the log files or the wall files?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want here on the database. Leave Postgres 13 main pgx wall. Oh, not x wall, pg wall. Which one you want to look at? This last one here? See, we only
Mm,
have one. Actually, we have two here.
yeah. Yeah, it would be the
Could
last
it-
one, wouldn't it?
I don't know. And how do I look at this log? Like vim less, what do I do? Vim,
Yeah, that won't work.
yeah. Oh,
You
it
gotta
has
use.
a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, you can't
I
use that.
I cannot read this language here. Like,
Why not? Why can't you read that?
no, I still need to study this language. It's not,
Oh, wow.
you know, I know a bit of English, I know a bit of Portuguese, some Chinese because I live there as well. But that one, it's new for me. So how we get that data,
So tell us,
that
Charlie.
information? I don't know. I'm asking you.
And I'm saying, tell us, Charlie. I'm asking Charlie.
Can we
Because you could do
use
a wall dump, right?
can you do a wall dump? Yeah. Oops, what is that? I don't know where the binary files are. So not less. So a wall dump. PG wall dump. I mean this one, right?
Yeah.
It's not in the path, but yeah. So how do you use a wall dump?
I don't know.
Okay. That's why we have the help here. We ask them for the help. PG wall dump the codes and displays Postgres write-ahead logs for debugging. That's good. So we run PG wall dump with the options. What are the options? Start and end. So there are the options, right? So can we tell the wall dump which wall file we want? Or, okay, we can tell the path, the directory in which they have blah, 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 or, okay, let's run pg wall dump dash p var lib postgre 13 main nope pg wall dash p, right?
It's the path.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the path. Okay, we believe it's this one. And let's ask again. Oh, where is help? Okay. We are on the timeline one, so let's read the error message, right? So blah, 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 picture. I have one thing. We don't have picture data. Okay.
So you have to set PG data, you think?
No,
And by the way,
but it's
Charlie,
easy.
if this is I'm sending down the wrong path, feel free to adjust.
Yep. that's fine. Okay, PG wall dump. I want it to follow. What is the start location? So we need to give it a start location, right? So how we can give the start location for the wall file?
That I am not sure of.
That's a good question, right? We can give the wall file. We have, this is the timeline.
You yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we have the timeline.
I mean, you can get the end. I mean, you could,
Oh, whatever starts. This is, we want this one, right? The timeline is in line 1. Okay. Hmm. Let's get there.
that's interesting. I'm looking it up. So, Charlie, is there a better way than using PG wall dump?
It could have, but the problem we run the commands too close to each other. We could have found the recorded the time in, if we have the logs enabled, so we could have the time that the drop database, but we don't have those enabled in the logs. Usually that's the easiest way. Stats. I don't want statistics. Okay, let me do one thing here.
So it should just be PG wall dump -p, then the directory, and then the start file. I don't even know if you need to do a -s.
Yeah, the -p is only when we don't have the PG data. We have the PG data.
So
it's
then we
defined,
should
it's
just
going
be able
here.
to put the wall file name. So the whole name, yeah. Just try that.
Okay.
-s. I don't think you'd even need to do -s. According to,
Okay.
I was just checking out the docs. It just looks like PG wall dump -p, PG wall, then the start wall, and that's it.
Okay, the -p, I need to remove the -p.
Yeah, try that.
Okay, because it's there.
What's that?
Okay, here we go. We only have a checkpoint here.
So what about the other log file? So there was another one, right?
Yeah, it is.
So that might have been a shutdown one. So
Oh
there you go.
goodness. Here we go. And We have delete. So those are the insert. Here is the commit for the last. And after this commit here, we messed it up with the database, right?
Okay. Yeah,
So
I see the deletes. You see all the deletes there, right?
exactly.
And so there's your
Yeah,
LSN number that you want to restore to.
Yeah, this is the previous one, and this is the one that you want to restore up to this point, right?
Yep.
Let me copy this information here to my notes, because we need this information here. Where are my notes, my notes, my notes. All right, so now is what we need to do. Okay, we already have the backup, I suppose. To no, I don't have the backups because we don't have enough space.
Well, you still have more. You can add more space because you only
Yep.
used 100 gigs out of the 300 that I gave you.
Yeah. Instead of the backup, right? I never remember the. Oh, I also need to be root. That's bad. LV extend -L plus 100 gigabytes. Okay. After that, I need to do XFS grow fs, and of course tell who I'm growing. Okay, now we have. Okay, let's why we wait. We have the data that we need here. I copied. So after that being copied, we need to have a way to tell the database that we are recovering, or we're doing a point in time recover, right? We need to tell a way to the database that we want it to go forward up to a certain point, right? So we need to, what we need to do is we need to create a recovery file. I just create this file here. Recovery.conf. So after it's done, we just copy the recovery file to the database. So in the recovery file, we need to tell what is the recovery target. So we, as you said, we can have the target in the time or the target in the LSN, right? So recovery.
And we have the LSN from the dump that we did.
Yes, we do. And let me just double check if recovery target LSN, recovery target LSN. Okay, I'm opening the Postgres documentation here. And where is the Yeah, it's recovery target. Is my recovery spelled right? Recovery.
Yeah, looks right.
Equals, let me get the LSN that we have here. We want to recover up to this point. This is the one that we copied, right? So we also need to tell the database where to find the WAL files and what the command it will use to get the WAL files that we have. Remember, we only have here 2 WAL files, right? But we don't have those WAL files from the backup that we had.
Right, because those were not part of the backup.
Exactly. But we have them on the archive. So, and then the restore command, we can use a similar command as we're using on the archive. And if we see here, etc Postgres, on the PostgreSQL command, the archive command is this rsync here, right? So I just copy this command. And what we want to do is to copy, is do the opposite, to copy the file from the archive to the place you want to put them, right? It's just the opposite way. Okay. After the restore command, we want to tell to the database, okay, when you get to this point, what the database is going to do. So the action that the database is going to do when it gets to the target is recovery action target. So I want the database to pause. I don't want the database to keep moving. And so when it gets to this point, and this LSN here is after the commit. Actually, it's not the one that's running the commit. Just this is what I copied. See, this is the one after the commit. I don't want to include this LSN. I just want up to the one previous. So I'm gonna tell the database that the recovery target inclusive equals false. I don't want to include that LSN in the recovery process, right?
Well,
So
wasn't the LSN there though for the commit, or was it the one after the commit?
That was one after the commit.
Okay.
I copied the one after the commit.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure, because if you did it on the commit, it wouldn't commit.
That's true. That's true. I got the one out. This is after the commit. See?
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
The previous one was this one was the commit.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Oops. What did I do here? My Vim just messed it up.
Couldn't find the definition.
Yeah,
it must be something like, yeah, you might have hit something that you didn't expect.
Okay.
Like maybe picked up something odd. You just need to finish the quote, right? Couldn't find definition. That's weird.
Wow, what's going on here?
I do not know what that error is.
Okay, my keyboard looks working fine. Insert, and then when I go to, okay.
Is the arrow keys cause any issues? Was that, I see that is a weird thing, but anyways.
Yeah, is the arrow keys? I call them like I'm just
Yeah, Vim
using-
sometimes loses its mind, I guess,
Yeah,
from what I just saw.
okay. We need the recovery. Target inclusive equals false. And I just realized it here. Okay, if I cannot use error, is that gonna be? That's gonna be bad.
So
What happened to
Mahesh
you?
was asking, can't we just use the recovery signal file and make changes to the PostgreSQL on the DR side?
We can. This is the recovery signal file. If I understood the question,
You could put it in the you could hard code that into the PostgreSQL file though, correct? For startup if you're
Yeah.
going to start it up. But then if it restarted, then it would have the same commands.
okay. That's so I have an error here, target action. Okay, I have
Actions
restore
misspelled.
command,
Actions misspelled.
action, and target inclusive. Okay, should be fine. Yes.
No.
Oop.
There you go. All right, you should be ready to go, right? So
Okay, yeah. So, okay, we are done here, right? So this is the new data set. So this is the backup that we don't have the data, right? So what it's gonna do is this is data PITR to bar lib PostgreSQL 13 main. Okay. So remember, we don't have the data here, right? So, but if we do a database, well, restart here. That was quite fast. I don't like when it goes that fast. Right, data. Let's check the logs. Okay. That's fine.
So Charlie,
this-
so you just restarted, but did you tell it to use the recovery comp? I didn't.
No, we didn't move the files. Good. The file is elsewhere. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do recovery.conf to main recovery.signal, right? So we're gonna signal the database that want to recover we want the database to recover from the last problem that we have, that is the drop database.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing. I don't remember top of my mind if it's recovery signal or recovery conf, because Mahesh, if I'm not mistaken his name, he mentioned about recovery signal, right? That's the thing. We're gonna try test now. So the database is stopped. Well, we have those logs here. I'm gonna start the database.
Recovery conf is gone in Postgres 13 or 12.
Okay.
So let's see, what does this say? Yeah, recovery signal.
Okay.
But the question is, will it still recover after you've restarted the database after a backup and then you shut it down?
Well, the database is not running. That's the thing.
But it was running. You started it. So is that going to cause
No,
issues?
it had a problem. See, it has a problem. Let's check the logs. We do have a problem here. What is the problem now? Okay, database is ready, accepting connections. Definitely, this is not what we. This doesn't seem to be the logs.
No, that's an old file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be out of order. So go back and take a look at the.
Okay.
What's the date on the
Should be
server?
this
Maybe
one.
the server date's wrong.
Okay. PostgreSQL 13. The symbolic link is wrong.
There you go. But you didn't recover to the /data 13, right?
We do. No. We recover to data PITR.
Right, yeah.
Okay, now we have it correct. I'm gonna cp recovery.signal to main. Okay, this is the new one. Okay, the database is stopped. Let's restart the database. And of course, we're missing this postmaster.
And this is where, when you're setting up backup scripts or recovery scripts, this would always be automated. You would want to always have this all scripted out ahead of time, because you wouldn't want to have to remember these commands.
No. And we need to do the shell, remember?
Yes. Own.
Not the
What do we
shell,
got?
ch mode.
Yes, chmod 700, right?
700 -r data PITR. Before we get this error, right? Let's just. Okay, that's another problem. Well, actually, that's a problem that we don't know, which is CT main. Okay, now we have the logs. Finally. Oh, we should have a restore command. And we have a restore command. I probably misspelled. Nothing. Seriously, Nano. Restore command. Okay.
I mean, you don't need to use rsync. I mean, you could use copy. You should probably check to see where those files are. Wait, go back to that real quick.
Yep.
Maybe I saw an error there. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Let's see. So backup archive, is that where they are? So looking under backup archive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here they are. Yeah. We have two.
So yeah,
Yep,
so
we have done that.
so just you don't have to use rsync. You could use copy because you know you don't necessarily need that. I mean, but even so, it should have picked that up.
Yep, we can use copy. Let's just, why not?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you have to, but restore command might have to go above the might have to be the first in the file, and I'm just spitballing, so it might pick up the recovery target LSN then move down. Try reordering
Okay.
just real quick. Doesn't hurt. That's an easy one to fix.
It is restore command. Okay, rsync, blah blah blah, %f and %p. Okay, that's correct. Let me copy this one here. No. Oh,
no.
it's better than nothing. Recovery target LSN. I didn't type anything extra, did I? No.
I wonder if the LSN doesn't need to be in quotes, does it? Anyways, just try and restart and let's see.
And here we go. Restore command. Okay.
I don't know why it's not picking that up.
Let's try a different approach. Okay, what do we have here? We have Postman signal. We have let's make sure the database gonna start. Okay, the database started. So if I stop here, okay, at least we know that our recover.signal is the one causing the database to crash, right? So recover.signal, restore command.
Yeah, it's not picking that up. Is for whatever reason. Oh wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see. Is it that? Yeah, I don't know. That looks like it should be right.
You know what? I cannot do main etc PostgreSQL 13 main PostgreSQL.conf. Okay, I have someone editing. So today nano. Really need to find out what's causing this.
Instead of Vim, maybe VI will work.
Yeah. And here I always type the Vim comments. Okay. Okay. So you, where is the restart? Okay. Looks like it restarted.
take a look to see if the recovery actually went through.
Yeah, I should have copied the parameters because we just lost the file. Just a second here, but I don't want to type this again if I have to.
No problem. And thank you everyone for hanging out with us. We're almost at hour 2, so hopefully this worked. Charlie didn't plan to be here for this whole time, so
Nope, I didn't, and seems it didn't work because the table is not there.
check the log file real quick.
The logs.
So my question to you, Charlie, and I don't know the answer to this, and maybe you do, because you removed the recovery signal and started, does that do something to change that it can no longer be recovered because the wall files moved ahead with the start?
That's a good question.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, I know, because, well,
if you're, let's say you've got, your recovery recovers to log file 4, and you're saying, oh, I
Mhm.
want to go to log file 3, but then you start, it would then go to like log file 6, 7, 8. I don't think you can go back. Right?
Yeah, let's check the logs what it says. Yeah, it's trying to recover from this log file. Was but the thing
But then it said
is,
it's failed, right? It said
yeah,
no
it
such
did.
file or directory. Look at that, no such file or directory. So I'm guessing that it's not copying it to the right place. So it found it, but it's not copying to the right place.
No, this is fine. This one here is the
Well, see, like
history file.
the rsync errors. Some file attributes were not transferred. See previous errors.
The thing is, we don't want those guys to be restored. The data that we have are before these timeline, this LSN are on the 4E, not 4F. Right? That's one thing. So the data that you want to restore, they are not on those files. The thing here, see, I'm missing attributes. Okay. Your theory might be play something what we're trying to do. We don't no longer have the restore.signal, right?
Right, and I'm wondering if that caused some of the issues. So what I would suggest is maybe we just try to do this and come back, since we're going to do the PG backrest next week, which should take care of most of this. We should be able to come back with at least a answer on the next stream on like, okay, this is what we did wrong. This is how you'd fix it. This is how you do a restore. And we could probably just do a little video clip that we can drop on YouTube without being live for that.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. My suggestion, if you have time, so we can finish streaming now, and then I dig into the problem to see what happened. So we can record that one, and then you do your magic on the video to make it a short one. What do you think?
Totally fine. Totally fine.
Okay.
Because we know that
Sounds
some
good.
folks are it's getting really, really late for them.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And yeah, so typically we this has been the longest stream we've had, which is good. I mean, people have gave us some good feedback. We thank you all for hanging out here. That's awesome that we still got quite a few of the same people hanging out the entire time, which is great. And I promise next time I'll be nicer to Charlie. Jeez, people. It's just so
well, yeah. If you save this one to YouTube, we need to split this video in two because like it's been 2 hours, man. It's
yeah.
insane.
Well, it's automatically uploaded to YouTube, so we'll have to just edit
Okay.
after the fact. So not a huge deal, but
Okay. Okay, then let's do that. Let's finish the stream, the live stream here. So let's keep recording, figure out what was the problem, and then you do your magic to have like 5 minutes max video troubleshooting and get things right.
Yeah, and so Anthony, you are absolutely right. And this is part of the thing is you want it well scripted, but there's also tools that take care of a lot of this for you. And so we're trying to do it manually on purpose. And I gave Charlie a lot of crap about that. But I mean, the idea here is if we show you the steps and we go through the pain, if someone's trying to do it this way, they're going to see what we ran into and see what we troubleshooted and hopefully save them some time. But the recommendation is if there are tools out there, you want to
never do it manually. Yeah.
And yeah, you want to avoid the manual unless it's like last resort.
Because this.
Yeah, there's what like 1,000 pages in the documentation. It's impossible for everybody to know every setting and things.
No, this is and this is the thing, right, man? Everything that's manual is error prone. So we usually do silly mistakes, and then when come back, oh, seriously, I did that silly mistake. So yeah, and this is why we should use the tools that we have in the market to do most of the automation of those processes. Right? It is good to understand how it works because okay, we have an understanding. Like right now, we have hints that where we need to look at. Right? So if something that happens with your automation, you need to be able to understand and to troubleshoot the problem, but you should not be done that manually. It doesn't scale. Even if you do everything right, it doesn't scale at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and again, yeah, it's good from time to time to go back and like, okay, we haven't done it for ages. And as people are pointing out, things changed from the 12 to 13 to 14. And it's always good to do and to remember those things and refresh them, but it should not be done manually. And that's where we're gonna on the next stream to have the PG backrest and do all the automation, all those kind of stuff. And we're gonna have the serve and everything done. So we'll see how much time we can avoid, like save with the full automation, right? That's the main thing.
Absolutely. Okay. Hey, we really do appreciate you all coming today. You are why we're doing this, so we appreciate
sorry again
it.
For
Thank
the
you.
failure.
Yeah,
that's my fault. It was supposed to have the documentation open there.
I was told to be nice to you, and I'm trying to be nice to you.
Here.
And now he's telling me it's my fault. He doesn't have one of these. I do. So
all right. I'm gonna prepare something here on my.
Okay.
Well,
no, you guys seriously. You know, these are live streams for you who are trying to learn Postgres, trying to understand how it works, and so we are very flexible. Bring your questions, hang out with us. Feel free to ask questions. You know, ping us offline. You know, I heard some folks, had mentioned. That they were already in touch with Charly, which is awesome. And I had some people reach out to me and help them troubleshoot some MySQL things a week ago. So that's awesome. So thank you for hanging out. Like this, subscribe to it, tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your wife, tell your husbands, and we'll see you in a couple weeks and we'll go fix this issue.
Yep.
All righty.
Thanks everybody. Have a great